I want to introduce the great, the wonderful Denise Cavalcik. She is so organized, so well put together that when I sent her a message yesterday and said, would you be able to present for us tomorrow? I knew that she was going to say yes, if at all possible, and that she would be well prepared. She is your marketing department in many, many, many ways. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Denise, and she has some words of wisdom for us.
Thank you, Isis. So I'm going to do a couple of things here. Bear with me, please. All the technology, right? So thank you, Isis, for that great introduction and this opportunity to present to all of you today. I'm going to share just a few reasons why I love LinkedIn and why I think it's a critical tool for your digital presence. And I'm also going to share just a few ideas with you. So I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn, maybe almost as much as Isis does. Because I love so much being in that space, and it helps me build my business. Now, if we've had the pleasure of having a one-to-one together, I most likely did a post with you about our visit. And although I do not yet have 1 million followers, maybe Joni does on her Instagram with all her little reels, but a girl can dream. But I want to mention that there are about almost 7.5 million professionals like us on the channel. And when you have a strategic approach, it is the social media channel that can be leveraged to generate leads for your business. Now, it's a great way to build a community. You can create some digital street cred, if you will, as a thought leader. And it's a space you can share some referrals with those posts I mentioned a few moments ago. If you, like me, strive to support other small business owners. So for example, I shared a shout out for a professional colleague on my profile, and another contact was looking for those particular services. So guess what? They connected, and now they're negotiating a way to work together. I love when that happens. Now, let's get to some of the fun stuff. Content creation, right? So I personally have created an easy to use editorial calendar, simple, easy breezy for myself to make sure I create some kind of content each week at minimum. And often I'm doing a lot more because I mentioned I love LinkedIn so much. And like any social media channel, you can do all kinds of fun things. I often share out other people's content. I tag them when I do. That's really important. Tag the people and the organizations because it can put you in front of their folks and it helps grow your contacts. Let's talk a little bit about your profile. I love this too, about setting up your professional brand. It's a lot of fun. The key here is that it really needs to reflect your brand positioning, right? When I attend these kinds of events or other networking events, I go to LinkedIn, right, afterwards to continue the conversation with the folks that I meet. And it's very sad when I can't find them there. So here, let me give you an example. I met someone and she uses her first name, Beth, in her brand. But I couldn't find her on LinkedIn because she uses her name, Elizabeth. So I had a lot of trouble finding her. So consistency is also key. So when someone visits your profile, it should be really obvious and similar to what you have, say, on your website as far as your messaging goes, right? I think I talked about, and maybe later I'll talk about the difference between cars and tomatoes. You don't want to get those mixed up. So as with all the socials, it's about social engagement. Don't be a noisemaker, right? Post, and not connecting with anyone there, right? Share, yeah, your brilliance, of course, but also chime in on other people's insights. Share their brilliance. Isis does that so beautifully. She's always sharing the brilliance for other people on her LinkedIn profile, and have some fun. So You can do live video feeds. You got to apply for the ones on LinkedIn, but you can introduce video in other ways. You can do some polls. I just started doing that. Lots of fun stuff you can do. So I want to say thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about LinkedIn with you. If you want access to these brilliant notes, they're available for the low cost of $49.99. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Isis is going to be sharing this out. But if you want to build a solid LinkedIn presence and strategy, surprise, surprise, I offer those services. So if you want to, I'd be honored to support you in that way, but check out my website to learn more about what I do. We can set up a chat there, and I'll, of course, also put my contact information in the chat. Thank you.
So we're going to do something special today. This is your open forum to ask questions. We're going to record it, so it will be part of the whole presentation.
Yes. Any easy questions for me? Easy.
Denise.
Yes, Gail. Okay. Oh, Gail, I think you go first, then Jojo, then Sue.
Okay. I don't know if this is easy or not, Denise, but I know you'll know what the answer is. So I know you can do a personal profile on LinkedIn and you can do a business profile on LinkedIn. Do you need both?
So you can use those different spaces, and the quick answer is I believe so you do, because the different kinds of content you can put on your company page is a little different than your profile. So for example, I do a lot of content shares on my profile, but I recommend to say my clients, they might share out an article or some deeper dive information on their company page. So I think Jojo's next.
Yes, I do have a question. Denise, I have 2 accounts on my LinkedIn. I don't know how it happened. I know. And I want to merge them. Do you have a simple, easy way to do this?
I don't know the answer to that, Jojo. I might migrate content and delete one of them, but I don't know. It's easy to merge them, Tiffany said. So Tiffany, maybe you can put in the chat some tips on how to do that.
Tiffany, let's connect. Thank you. Great job, Denise. Great job. And you look awesome.
Thank you. Who's next? I'm going to go with Joni because you're up at the top here.
Okay, awesome. So Denise, what type of content? Because I do the Facebook, I do the Instagram, and LinkedIn is kind of my next platform. So I know it's like a business thing, but is it more educational, and is it not so much personal stuff? Like when you talk about the great content for LinkedIn, is there like rules?
Sure. You know, with everything in social media, it changes in 15 minutes. So, but what I like to do and let my clients do, recommend that they do, is you want to demonstrate your position as a thought leader in your industry, your expertise. You also want to build your network. So showcasing other people who might be industry adjacent might be a great content share. And yes, I would say personal every so often, because when it comes down to it, we're not just business people, we're fun, loving, crazy cats. And maybe we want to show that a little bit every so often.
Awesome. Thank you.
How much more time, Isis?
We have 2 minutes. So
Dorothy, go. Okay, Dorothy.
So I'm with Joni in the fact I have not focused on LinkedIn. It seemed overwhelming. Is there one really good tip that you could give all of us that we should make sure our profile has today? Or what's one big thing that we should make sure as we're starting we do?
So what I love to do is, and I learned this tip, is you have a first name and a last name field. So in the first name, I put my entire name. And in my last name, I put in your personal digital publicist. So you put in there some kind of branding, if you will. So whenever you post or anyone tags you, you'll convey that branding message unless they delete it, which you have the power to do that. But it's a great way to sort of further your brand messaging. And Lisa, last question.
You talked about getting live video on, but I was wondering how important you thought it was to get pre-recorded videos that you make talking to the audience.
Well, again, one of the trends that's happening right now is video is the way to do it. People love watching video on the social. So I would leave that to our video experts in the crowd. But in short, I would say any kind of video content you can put up there, whether it's a short portion or a link or what have you, go for it. And if you really want to demonstrate your position as a thought leader in your area of expertise, just apply to LinkedIn to use that infrastructure to do their live videos. But again, yeah, I think video is great. So that's all we have. But if anyone else wants to talk to me about this, I'll put my contact information in the chat. Great questions, y'all.